Hi everyone, Stephanie Bryan here with you at Gossamer Blue this month to share some of my tips and tricks for putting together my Project Life spreads. I've really tried to simplify my process over the last few months, and I thought I would share a little video tutorial here. I'm going to be using the Gossamer Blue July kits, mainly the Life Pages Add-on 3. This is the spread that I'll be walking you through in just a little bit. But first, a few of my tips. I always start by choosing my supplies. So here you see some supplies that I pulled out. Most of these are from the Life Pages Add-on 3, the journaling cards, 2 4x6 and 4 3x4 cards, as well as some printables that I've printed out from the July printables, open road embellishments, and some pink paisley chipboard alpha. I find it's easier if I start with a select number of supplies and then maybe add on a few at the end if I need it, rather than having a lot of supplies in front of me. The next thing that I try to do is sketch out my page. I don't always do this, but I found that if I sketch out my page, it comes together so much easier than if I just try to add pictures in pockets and cards in pockets and whatnot. So I usually just roughly draw my Project Life page protectors, and then after looking at my supplies, I kind of think about, I'll add a pic here, a journaling card here, a filler card here, and whatnot, depending on my supplies. And then once I start putting my page together, it comes together a little bit easier. So now that I know exactly how many pictures I'm going to be using, or roughly how many pictures I'm going to be using in my spread, I go ahead and print out my photos. Here I have 4 4x6s and 4 3x4s, although the photos are a little bit smaller. And as you can see on the 3x4s, I went ahead and added in my journaling just to simplify the process even more while I was in my computer. Now the next thing is a quick little video, basically step by step, showing you how I pulled this spread together, and it really did come together very quickly. It took me probably twice as long to edit and upload my pictures for this video than it did to put the spread together. So here are the page protectors I'm going to be using. Both of them are design A, and as you can see there, I have trimmed off the far right hand side of the page protector on the left. So I flipped it over. I'm going to be using the back side. I trimmed it off and then I sewed it down. So it leaves me 6 4x6s and then a couple more 3x4s. I just decided to switch it up this week and do something a little bit different. So here, which is what I usually do, is I just start laying my pictures and my cards out and just kind of eyeballing and see how I can balance my page. So if I have heavy colors on one side or warmer colors on one side, I'll try to balance it with a warmer color on the other side. And the same goes for photos. If I have a couple black and whites, I might add one black and white on one side and one on the other side. So here I'm just using my little sketch that I did earlier just to kind of see how I can put my spread together. Since I already sketched it out, I kind of have a rough idea of where I want my pictures to go. But I don't always stick with my sketch once I start playing around with it. So here I'm just going to pull my sketch out and show you that here on the left-hand side, I had 3 pictures in a row. But I felt like with those 3 pictures in a row that it was off balanced with the other side. So I'm just going to move this photo here on the left side over to the right hand spread, and I think I might shuffle my pictures around just a little bit. I'm just kind of eyeballing everything and fixing it how I think looks the best. So back on my sketch, I had these 2 cards right here, these 2 filler cards reversed. I had them like that on my sketch. But then there's the blue here and the blue there, and I felt like you just needed to have a little bit of break in between those 2 blues. Let them coordinate together but not be right beside each other. So I switched those up there. And then I'm just going to add 2 more filler or journaling cards right here. Now for that left hand empty pocket, right now there's nothing there. I'm just going to pull out some of my embellishments and the pink paisley chipboard alpha, and I think I'm going to add the word summer inside that pocket, because these photos are all of summer, and I love having a transparent pocket or a little peekaboo pocket. So I'm going to add the word summer. I'm just going to go through and find the right letters. Okay, so I'm just going to speed it up just a little bit, but I'm going to spell summer, and since it has 6 letters, I think I'm going to do 3 and 3. So I'm going to put that there, and I think I'm going to stitch it into place on that pocket there. And now the next thing that I do while I have my photos and my journaling cards out is I shuffle through my embellishments and figure out a couple little additions I can add to my page. So here's some embellishment, or some of the printables that I actually printed onto vellum, and I love the look of that. It's so soft and delicate, and if you put it over a portion of your photo that's white or a little lighter, it really pops out. The colors really pop out there. It was harder to see in my hand. So I usually just add a couple little embellishments and line everything up, and then figure out where I might need to add journaling, or what extra space I might want to add some additional embellishments. So after I kind of shuffle those around and look for a couple little additions to add to the photos, I usually just go through the rest of the items I pulled out from my kit. So see, these are some of those October afternoon little tin pins, some of the little library ones. That one says love your library. My daughter's in the library, so just checking those out. And then these are some of the fancy pants stickers. And as you can see, I just gently lay it onto my cards and then eyeball if I like the look of it, or if I feel like it fits with the page. Since they are super sticky, I try not to stick anything down all the way, adhere anything all the way, until I'm certain that that's how I want it to be. So the printables from Gossamer Blue are great because they do add, it's like having your own extra embellishment kit. So you can change the colors if you have Photoshop or a photo editing program. You can create your own journaling cards, or do whatever you like to print them on vellum, or just do anything kind of cool to jazz up your spread a little bit. It's a great resource, and it's awesome that they come as part of the Gossamer Blue subscriptions. So in this bottom left-hand photo, I want to add a little bit of journaling, and I wanted to have a place for it, and I didn't know if you'd be able to see it since that portion of the photo with the leaves and everything is a little bit darker. So I added one of the open road embellishments, and now it's on to the journaling. So as you can see, I took the places where I wanted to add a little bit of journaling, here and here and here. I just took those to my typewriter. I have an old Smith Corona typewriter. It's from my grandmother. That's one that she used. I can still find ribbon for it. And I just run my photos and my journaling cards right through the typewriter, add my journaling, and it's completely done. Sometimes if I know exactly what I want to say, or if there's a digital element that I want to add to my photos, I might do it when I'm printing my photos, but most of the time I'm not really sure how the embellishments and the different stickers and things are going to go with the photos, and where I might have enough space or how big something is. So I tend to use my typewriter more than I do Photoshop or a photo editing program for adding my journaling. So the last thing is just to add the journaling and then the finishing touches. And this summer card, the one that said summer, I'm decided to adhere it to a piece of vellum. It is still see-through, but I was worried about stitching it through since this is the back side of that page protector on the left-hand side. I wasn't sure how it would look having stitched letters but not being able to see what it was on the other side. So I just stitched that to some vellum, and then quickly I'm just going to adhere the last couple little bits onto the journaling cards. I added that October afternoon 10-pin flare right there, but then I realized that I wanted to adhere it to the outside of the page protector. I like adhering things like that are raised, pins and flare and buttons to the outside sometimes. So I decided to pull that one off. And here I just have a little bit of doily. That card, I'm not sure if you realize, but I turned the different direction. I used the other side, and it gave me a little space to write my journaling vertically rather than horizontally along the bottom. And I just added a little doily just for a little extra touch. I took everything over to my sewing machine. That's usually the very last thing that I do. And I sewed it all into place. Sewing with, if you've never sewn on paper or photos before, it really is easy. It's easier for me to sew on paper and photos than it is for me to sew fabric. I can keep a piece of paper straighter than I can a piece of fabric. But the easiest way to do it is just slip your paper in your sewing machine and then have your settings. I usually have mine at a tension at about 3, and then my stitch length is at about 4, 3.5 to 4. That's kind of the best settings I found. And then the last part for the spread is just to place everything back in and call it done. So fast, so easy, and this process really simplifies the whole project life, keeping up with project life, weekly, monthly ordeal. Having a kit picked out and making a sketch, printing your photos from your sketch, then assembling your pages, adding your journaling, and the finishing touches. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. As always, let me know if you have any questions or if I can do anything to help you out.